Pokoknya setelah sambutan-sambutan, panjang sih sambutan-sambutan dulu nih, terus baru doa, terus baru dia penyerah. Belum, masih lama kalau penyerahan plakat di paling bawah dia. Ini dia, di pas sebelum penutupan acara. Disuruh kemarin sama Pak WD, Pak Dekan, WD 1. Nggak ada Dekan, diwakilin sama WD 1 katanya. Semuanya. Biarin dah. Bener-bener. Kalau yang kursi kosong di depan itu buat siapa? Oke deh. Kalau yang kursi kosong depan tuh mau buat siapa? Lecture juga? Lecture juga.
Pagi semua, untuk rekan-rekan mahasiswa jangan ada yang kosong ininya ya, bangkunya. Kita juga, dosen juga.
Tes. Tes. Once again, for all of the participants, please fill the empty seat and please to silent your phone.
Welcome to our speaker, Mr. Christian Haynes in Economic and Business Faculty of Mataram University. Bismillahi wa bihamdih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, may peace be upon all of us. Greetings of virtue. The Honorable Chairman of the 60 Disnatalis of Economic and Business Faculty of Mataram University, Mr. Agustin S.A. MBA DBA. The Honorable all of the Vice Dean of Economic and Business Faculty of Mataram University. The Honorable Dean Economic and Business Faculty of Mataram University, Dr. Ihsan Rois, ST MSc. As well as all participants of the international seminar that we are proud of. We would like to say thank you for joining us today in the international seminar with the theme Lecture on Cross-Cultural Awareness in Dealing with International Business. All praise only to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Lord of the world, the possessor of science, the creator of everything in the universe. Because of His blessing, we are able to attend in today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Melinda Silvana as the Master of Ceremony to guide today's event. As for our rundown for today's event are: the first agenda is opening ceremony of International Seminar 2023. The second agenda is singing the national anthem, Indonesia Raya. The third agenda is welcoming speech. The fourth agenda is prayer. And our last agenda is closing. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our event, let us start it by saying Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The next agenda is singing the national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. please return to your seats. The third agenda is Chairman of this Natalie's welcoming speech to Mr. Agustin S.A. MBA DBA. The time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Yang saya hormati Bapak Dekan yang diwakili oleh Bapak Dekan, Wakil Dekan 1, Bapak dan Ibu, bukan Bapak dan Ibu, Ibu-ibu ketua jurusan. Jadi all head of departments is ladies, 3 of them. Honorable my colleagues, lecturer, students, and all participants of this seminar, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to all participants, students, lecturers, which attending this seminar offline and online, for being here at this event of international seminar. It is such an honor for me to speak as the chairman of the committee on behalf of the community members. Let me begin by giving you a warm welcome to this seminar with the themes cross-cultural awareness in dealing with international business. This event is part of a series of activities for celebrating the 6th anniversary of the Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Mataram, this year with the theme Enhancing Local and Indigenous Entrepreneurship. I would like to express my appreciations to the Dean, Vice Deans, Head of Departments, and all committee members who have been contributing and help us to make these international seminars come true. We could not have done this event without your contributions. My special thanks and appreciation to Christian Heinz, founder of IndoConsult, of his willingness to become our guest lecturer. And I know Christian long time ago. His wife is come from Lombok Timur, and he was consultant in IndoConsult at the time, and he works at also at Siemens company in Makassar. And today, Krista Lombok Timur, we still his wife to give us kuliah umum campus. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's seminar we would learn cross-cultural awareness in dealing with international business. In the business world, cross-cultural awareness plays a very important role to make business to be successful. Most businesses from different countries with different cultural background need to be acknowledged by their business partners. Cultural awareness is crucial in international business relation as it helps individuals and organizations understand the differences and similarities between cultures, which can greatly impact business relationships, negotiations, and communications. In terms of global marketing strategy, to build brand awareness, create customer loyalty, and expand the customer base, businesses need to understand the cultural differences between consumers from different geographical regions. Eventually, we will be able to expand our business up to global base. I hope this seminar will help students and lecturers to enhance our knowledge and understanding and businesses in dealing with their international business partners. Well, I don't want to take too much to our time. I need to hand over it to our today's moderator, Nina, to introduce our guest lecturer to all of you and manage this seminar. I would like to say once more on behalf of the committee members, welcome to Facultas of Economics and Business Campus. It is great to see so many of you today. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Mr. Agustin for the speech. Next, Vice Dean of Academic Affairs, Economic and Business Faculty of Mataram University, welcoming speech to Mr. Diswandi SAMSC PhD. The time is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, students, scholars, fellow colleagues, also the committee of the 60th Dies Natalis of the Faculty of Economics and Business University of Mataram. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This morning, Professor Christian Hist, the founder of Indo Consult. This is a company that deal with consultation for whoever gonna doing business in Indonesia, especially. Welcome to the FEB Unram, Professor Chris. Selamat pulang kampung also. I hope you enjoy being here. Absolutely. This seminar is a series of the 60th anniversary of the FEB Unram. This is the oldest faculty in Universitas Mataram actually. Another seminar will be held on upcoming Friday this week afternoon. So, ladies and gentlemen, in a rapidly evolving global landscape where borders are fading and connectivity is increasing at an unprecedented rate, the significance of cross-cultural awareness in international business cannot be overstated, since we are not alone. We have a lot of culture in the world. As we stand on the threshold of an interconnected world economy, it becomes imperative for us to not only acknowledge the differences that exist among our cultures, but also to celebrate and leverage these differences for mutual growth and prosperity. Our ability to communicate effectively, negotiate astutely, and build enduring relationship across culture, like what was mentioned by Dr. Agustin, is what distinguishes the visionaries and trailblazer in international business. Over the course of this seminar, we will have the privilege of hearing from distinguished experts in the field of business development and cross-cultural management from Christian. As we engage in this intellectual journey, I encourage each and everyone here to share your insight, experience, and perspective. Let us engage in thought-provoking discussions that spark new ideas and innovative approach to conducting business on the global stage. In closing, I would like to express my profound gratitude again to Professor Christian Hens. I learned that he is a professor in Islamic science, yes, if I'm not mistaken, I guess. And I believe he can speak Bahasa Indonesia very well, So participants can use bahasa Indonesia if you are not pede in using bahasa Inggris to ask a question later in the discussion and answer session. No problem. Ya, Pak Kris ya. Also, my million thanks go to fellow lecturers, student, participant, sponsor, organizer, and the 60th DS FEB Unram Committee, who is Dr. Agustin as the chairman of this committee this year, who have made this event possible. This seminar serve as a catalyst for fostering a new era of cross-cultural awareness, collaboration, and excellence in international business. Thank you again, and by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, on behalf of the Dean of the FEB Unram, I officially open this seminar. I usually read pantun, so I have prepared to pantun for this morning, but it is in bahasa Indonesia. Please give a cakep. Setelah mandi barulah sikat gigi. Yang di sana jangan hanya diam termangu. Mari mulai seminar dengan semangat pagi. Semoga ilmunya berkah selalu. One more. Siang hari makan bakso terasi. Malam hari makan ikan teri. Karena sudah saatnya presentasi, mari mulai menyimak materi. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a good morning everyone.
Thank you to Mr. Diswandi for the speech. The fourth agenda is prayer that will be delivered by Mr. Zamroni Alpian, SAMM. To Mr. Zamroni, the time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi semuanya, salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Mohon izin saya memimpin doa dengan tata cara muslim. Bagi teman-teman yang beragama non-muslim, diharap bisa menyesuaikan. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan mustakfirin, hamdan yuafi ni'amahu wa yukafi mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karim wa azim sultanik. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin salatan tunjina biha min jami'il ahwali wal afat, wa taqdilana biha jami'il hajat, wa taqdilana biha jami'il hajat, wa taqdilana biha jamil hajat, wa tutahhiruna biha min jami'is sayyiat, wa tarfa'una ya Allah indaka alad darajat, wa tuballighuna biha aqsal ghayat min jami'il khairati fil hayati wa ba'dal mamat. Allahumma ighfir lana dhunubana wa la yaghfiru dhunuba illa anta ya Allah, wa li walidina warhamhuma kama rabbayana shaghira, wa li jami'il muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Wa tub alaina ya maulana innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Rabbana zidna ilman nafi'a wa rizqan wasi'a wa amalan mutaqabbala. Allahumma ij'al fi kulli a'malina wa fi kulli hayatina wa fi kulli imtihanatina wa fi kulli ta'allumina minan najihin salimin sabirin faizin wa mumtazin wa la taj'al minal mutakabbirin wa la taj'al minal mardudin ya Allah ya arhamar rahimin. Allahumma ja'al tajammu'ana hadha tajammu'an marhuman wa tafarruqana ba'da hadha tafarruqan hasanan ma'suman. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Subhanaka rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
thank you to Mr. Zamroni. The next agenda is group photo session. To all of our lecture, please stand in front of the stage to take a picture together. To the committee, please arrange the position. Di bawah. Once again, for our lecture, please go in front of the stage for take a picture together. For all of our participants, please stand up to take a picture together. Okay, for all of our participants, please stand up to take a picture together with our speaker. For all of the participants, please return to your seats. Please give applause to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for our cruise for the opening ceremony of International Seminar 2023. I would like to say thank you for attending in our opening, and let's end the session by saying Alhamdulillah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the main of our event. There is presentation session that will be delivered by our amazing speaker, and for this session will be guided by our awesome moderator. Before we move to our main event, let me deliver the short profile of our moderator. Ms. Nina Karina Karim, SAMSE AK, has been our lecturer at Economic and Business Faculty, Mataram University since 2003. She is based bachelor's and master degree in Faculty of Economic Accounting major at Sriwijaya University. She had been an accounting consultant from January 2007 until December 2016. Of our moderator today. Please give applause to our moderator. And without any further ado, let's invite Ms. Nina Karina Karim to the stage. And for Ms. Nina, the time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, how is everybody feeling today? All right. Good morning, everybody. We will start our seminar with our wonderful speaker today, Mr. Christian Heinz. Before he starts his presentation, I would like to read a couple of points from his curriculum vitae. Mr. Heinz right now is pursuing a PhD in philosophy and Islamic studies and theology. He is, one of his academic curriculum is, wow, I can't pronounce this. What is this?
Which one?
Professor?
This is Professor Islamski Nauka. This basically means teacher for Islamic science.
Oh, impressive, right? Give it applause. All right, so I'm sure you can see from the screen his wonderful achievements, and I think it would be more beneficial for us to listen to him speak today and give his insight on cross-cultural awareness in dealing with international business. So, Mr. Heinz, the time is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I thought you were asking me now a lot of questions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me, and I just talked to my old colleagues, and it is 10 years ago that I had the last time given a seminar here. So at this time there have been a lot of other students. Most of them, I think, are now already doing their jobs, making their careers. And I'm always appreciating to see that there are so many students coming new to the faculty, that there are so many students at this university eager to improve skills, to learn new skills. And I can encourage all of you only to really study well, to get your degrees, to get your academic career, or to get your professional career, and work on an international basis. And today what I would like to give you is some intro into cross-cultural theory and why cross-cultural skills are important in this world and why we need them to compete, and why especially young people like you need to learn about cross-cultural theory, because that's an asset for you when working with people from abroad, and most of you will work in the future with people from abroad, either if it's people from Europe, from the United States, from China, from Korea, from Japan, whatever. You will always meet people from other countries, either in private or in business or in your academic career, and you will have to learn about cross-cultural awareness. You will have to learn about how to deal with these people, and this is where I would like to give you a short introduction today, inshallah. So, where is my presentation? Yeah, here it is. Can you... You have to click on the presentation screen. Nggak bisa. Ja, der Dongle sudah ada. Not yet, not yet, not yet. Yeah. So, you saw already my CV here, which was put on the board. Just to give you some introduction who I am, my name is Christian Heinz, which is a very complicated name, basically, especially in Indonesia. If whatever you want to call me Chris, that's okay. So it's the shorter version. I'm coming from Germany. I'm originally coming from a very nice part in Germany, the southern part of Germany. Have been growing up on a nice lake there. In Bavaria, someone of you might know Munich, FC Bayern München. Yeah, okay. So this area is 25 kilometers south of Munich. I have studied several parts, so my main focus is really on Islamic science, but I also studied economics, like most of you are doing it here, and I also studied psychology with a minor degree. And in 1999 I came the first time to Indonesia, and since this time I'm always traveling back and forth between Indonesia and Germany. I'm living in Munich, as you see, this is the picture of the city of Munich, and also in Indonesia. As said before already, my wife is from Lombok Timur, so I also just came from Lombok Timur, from Tanjung, yesterday. And yeah, I'm working as a lecturer on Islamic science. I'm working as a lecturer on cross-cultural theory, doing my PhD at the moment to increase my academic career. And I'm working or I'm researching on leadership ethics and business ethics. Yeah, let's get into the material. Visa, okay. Yeah. Why is it important to learn about cross-cultural theory, or why is it important to have cross-cultural awareness? There are several points. The first thing is that, yeah, when we are cultural aware, that's the only way for us to become real global citizens. Of course, you all now are studying here. You mostly grew up, I think, here in Lombok. You have been staying all of your life in Lombok. But even here in Lombok, you see or you meet a lot of foreigners. Yeah, just yesterday I have been in Epic Center Mall, and there have been so much Bule inside. So you will have contact with foreigners all the time, and especially when you are working or when you are developing your academic career, you will be meeting people from other countries, and this will make you a global citizen. So you are on one side Indonesian, but on the other side you will also be a global citizen, traveling abroad, working abroad, studying abroad. Always takes a while. What also will be possible for you when you are learning about cross-cultural theory is that you can recognize and appreciate other people's values, beliefs, and customs. What this basically means is that I will talk about this later in more detail, but when you meet other people, they will have different values, they will have different belief systems. I'm not talking about religion only, I'm also talking about what people believe about who they are, what is important for them and all these things. And once you are learning about cross-cultural theory more in detail, you will be able to appreciate this more and understand it better. You will be able to interact with other people without prejudice and without judgment. This is what you learn once you are getting into this material of cross-cultural theory, because you will understand what's really going on, what you really think about people, what people think about you. Oh, langsung dua. You will have fewer interpersonal conflicts arising from communication. This is also very important, because most of the problems you are facing when you are dealing with people from other cultures are leading to conflicts. So this means that when you are, for example, negotiating with other people, negotiating contracts, when you are discussing academic works with them, when there is a problem in the communication from culture, you will have a conflict with these people. And this conflict is not because you might have a different opinion. This conflict is purely coming from a different understanding. We all know this. If you want to talk to someone who doesn't speak your language, and the person doesn't understand you and you don't understand the person, it's hard to communicate with this person. Of course, you will have the chance somehow to talk with your hand and feet and find a way. But if you are not able to clearly communicate what you want, then there will be always conflicts coming up. Another thing, It will help to create an inclusive and homogeneous work environment. What this means is basically what we are all facing right now. When you are working for an international company or when you are working in an international university, you will not be there only with Indonesians. You will be there with people from all over the world. There will be people with different attitudes. There will be people with different religion. There will be people having different opinions about how things should be in this world. And this is basically very important, that we are learning to accept and tolerate all of this, even if we are in our own culture might not tolerate such things. When we are coming to another culture, we might be we might have to tolerate things which are not normal for us. Ah, that's the trick. I have to go into this direction. I'm too far away. It helps us to see differences as a chance. When we are working in intercultural settings, it's many times like this, that we think, okay, we have differences, we are different, we look different, we work different, we think different, and this is causing problems. But in practice, this gives us a lot of chances. Because, for example, when I'm in Indonesia, I can see how people solve problems in a different way than we do it, for example, in Germany. I can see how, for example, students are learning in a different way, and we can always use this as a chance to improve ourselves, because we can see how our people from other cultures are doing it and how can we benefit from it. Yeah? There is always a learning, there is always a development component which we can take from other cultures, and this is really a chance to learn and increase our learning. We can better relate to people and raise our self-awareness. So not only on a professional level, also on a private level. It will make it easier for us to communicate, to talk to people, to relate to people, to understand what they are feeling, what kind of problems they are having. And so we will also raise our self-awareness, which basically means that we have to reflect ourselves. We have to look who we are, what do we believe, what do we think, how do we act, how do we react in certain situations, so we also improve ourselves, which is very important. We can show respect to other cultures. This is the basic thing when there is someone coming to your country and he's saying Selamat pagi. Okay, sekarang sudah siang? No. You will directly say, hey, wow, this person is knowing a little bit of my language, so you will appreciate this more. When this person understands about your culture, about your habits, about your ethics, then you will appreciate this a lot more. And the same goes when you are going to another country, when you work with people from other countries, when you are giving them this kind of appreciation as well, then you will be welcome a lot more. People will be open to you, you will learn and you will respect each other. It helps us to communicate better. We will talk later about this a little bit more in detail. And last but not least, no? This was now too fast. I think I have to stand here. And it helps us to communicate better. Okay, that's the last point on this slide, sorry. My presentation will take 3 hours. Not because I'm talking so slow, it's because I always have to press 3 times. Huh? No, that's too complicated. This is next. No, sorry. Thank you. So, what is culture? This is before we start with cross-cultural knowledge or cross-cultural awareness, we need to know what culture is. What is culture? Come on. What do you think, what is culture? Louder, louder, louder. Just shout. TV? Did you say TV? Identity. Culture is identity, yeah. What else? Come on, shout out. That's habit, characteristic, lifestyle, tradition, kebiasaan, yeah. What else? Any ideas? Unique? Uniqueness. Yeah, okay, yeah, culture is unique, right, yeah, yeah. No, that's already, yeah, you have already a good impression of what culture is. And that's basically also what we need to talk about. We need to have a kind of knowledge what we can define as culture. And one of the shortest definitions of culture is a system of knowledge which is shared by a relatively large group of people. Okay, now the sentence basically says nothing. But we can identify a lot of things from this sentence. First thing is, culture is a system of knowledge. So when it is knowledge, what does it mean for us? It means that we learn it. It's not something we are born with. So of course, I have been born in Germany, you are born in Indonesia, but this doesn't automatically make us being part of a certain culture. The education makes us part of a certain culture. And of course, when does education start? Does it start in university, in SD, in SMP? No, it starts at home. It starts when you are born. Your parents are educating you. Your brothers and sisters are educating you. Who was telling you how to eat? Ibu guru? No, your parents told you how to eat. Yeah? And what did you learn when you have been a child and you grabbed food with the left hand? Tangan manis. Yeah? That's a part of culture. Yeah? That's a part of culture, and this you all have learned from at home. You didn't learn it at school. Maybe there are some students which you have to pukul again later on, because they eat with both hands, but normally it starts at home. So you learn at home with your family, with your village, with the city you are born in, from your neighbors. You learn in school from your teachers, and this continues. So also cultural learning continues. It never stops. It never stops that you are learning about your own culture. And so it is also in cross-cultural awareness. It means now that you are learning a different perspective of your culture. No. Back. And culture has to be shared by a relatively large group of people. So, of course, we can say our family is having a certain culture. That's right. Maybe you have some certain things in your family which are typical for your family. But we have to say it's a large group of people. So it means culture has to be at least ethnicity, for example, or a group of people like a tribe. Yeah, for example, when we see here, we can talk about Sasak culture. We can talk about when we go to Java, we can also not say Java culture. Yeah, we have a different culture in Java Timur, we have a different culture in Banten, we have a different culture in the Sundanese culture is far different. And in Indonesia, you have the best sample for a lot of cultures because you have so many different people here. Also, when I see the faces here, there are people coming from all over Indonesia. I assume mostly from the eastern part of Indonesia, but you will have also different cultures here at the university. If you meet someone who is Ambonese, then this person will have a kind of different culture than someone who is growing up here in Lombok Timur. Even when you go to Praia, there is a different culture than in Mataram. And so it goes, it continues. So there is an Indonesian culture, then there is a kind of Asian culture, and then we are coming, there is a Chinese culture, there is a Japanese culture, then there is a European part of culture. Then there is a culture here in this university. you also might have recognized this with yourself. When you start here as a freshman in the first semester, you know nothing about the university. And it's not like that you don't know where the canteen is, yeah, or where the next Warung is, or where you can get copy or something like this. It's like how the people behave. How do I talk to docents? How do I talk to my fellow students? How do I talk to students who are already more advanced in the semester? How do I treat people? How do I behave? So you learn a university culture. And once you are coming, for example, to another university, you will have to learn another university culture. And once you are going, for example, to business, you will have to learn how to work in a company. There is a so-called company culture, or there is a branch culture. So if you are working in construction business, it is totally different than like when you work in hotel business, right? Yeah? So there is a different culture as well, and this is meant by, what was this? Takut. Kaget saya. Oh, now you can continue. So this is where you say a large group of people. Next. 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 So there is a more detailed definition of what culture is. It refers to a cumulative deposit of knowledge. This is what we already said. So it's a kind of knowledge you are getting throughout your life, which is also never stopping. So it continues that you are getting this knowledge. It's your experience you are having. So culture is also having a personal part. So what you experience, we all have different experiences in life. It's our beliefs, it's our values, our attitudes, meanings, hierarchies, religion, notions of time, roles, spatial relations, concept of the universe, material objects and possessions acquired by a group of people in course of generations through individual and group striving. And this is also now important. The last part of the sentence, because there is standing generations. So you also will see that your culture, you are now, how old are you? 19, 20, 23, 25 maybe maximum. So when you are meeting a guy like me who is 47, I will have a different culture than you are having. Your parents will have a different culture. Maybe older brothers and sisters will have a different culture. So also culture is a thing which changes over generations. When you see, for example, one of the best samples is Indonesia. In Indonesia, 20 years ago, there was a total different culture. Why was there a total different culture in Indonesia 20 years ago? Or let's say 25 years ago? Any idea why was 25 years ago a different culture in Indonesia? You have not been born at this time, but you know it from the history books. Because you had a different political system. Yeah? So, under the Suharto era, there was a total different culture than it is right now. And in 25 years, when your children will be sitting here, who knows? Who knows is president then? Jokowi will not be president anymore. Prabowo most likely not in 25 years, he's already too old. But there will be other people in politics, there will be other social systems, there will be a development in Indonesia, so you don't know how the culture will look in 25 years. So culture is also always developing in accordance to the generational development, to the development of the people itself. So this is also something which is important, which we have to recognize, because when we are working, and for us docents, it's for us lecturers, it's very important. Because we are having one generation after the other generation. Normally, when does a docent start in Indonesia to work? 20, 30 years, when he's 30 years, and then he's working until he is 50, 60 years. Yeah? So you have at least 2 or 3 generations of students coming through your career, and you have to adjust also your learning style, your teaching style. Yeah? When you are teaching people now, it might be totally different than 25 years ago. So this is also very important to acknowledge this, because if we just continue always the way we did it before, it will not work. I'm realizing this very much in Germany, that I always have to also adjust my cultural style in teaching. Next. I don't go through the slide. You will get this later on also as a handout. These are various definitions of culture. You also will find a lot more. There are hundreds of books about what culture is, and it's always a different definition, whoever is defining it. So if you ask, for example, someone from social studies, he will define it different, like an ethnologist. If you ask someone from business administration, he will have a different definition than a psychologist, for example. This is only for you as an overview, and it also contains some information about what culture is. Next. The problem what we are facing with culture, we already talked about this. What is culture? We have a visible part of culture and we have an invisible part of culture. When you are coming to a foreign country, the thing is, when I came to Indonesia the first time, long time ago, what did I see first? What did the people tell me? What should I do? Eat something. Makan. Yeah? Oh, there is very good rendang. They have the best opor ayam. They have the best mie goreng. Yeah? So this is something which is visible from culture. Language is visible because this is something I'm learning. When I'm coming to a foreign country, the first thing is I'm trying to get some parts of the language. This is visible. What is also visible is things like the laws, dances, art, music, movies, literature, holidays. This is something which is visible, but this is not the culture itself. This is only how culture reflects in the practice. So this is how we are practicing our culture. When you see, for example, a wedding ceremony in Lombok Timur, or here also in Mataram, it looks very impressive. And we can say, yeah, it's nice, the people are dressing nice, there are certain things which the people are doing during a marriage ceremony, but we don't really understand why all of these things are done. And this is what we have to see when we are going into cultural awareness. We have to see what's behind all of this. And this is like an iceberg. Yeah? With an iceberg, okay, there are no icebergs in Indonesia, but when you see an iceberg, you have 1/3 which is visible and 2/3 which are not visible. Sorry. So what we have to look at is why things are as they are, and this is under the surface. So we have certain traditions, we have values, we have desires, we have perspectives, and all of that stuff. And this is when we are talking about cross-cultural theory, where we have to look at. So we can see a certain ritual, for example. Let's take one thing which is very impressive, sunat, yeah, circumcision of boys. This is a big celebration in Indonesia. Now someone coming from another country, you see, you come to the village, you see that the boys are dressed very nice, the whole family is making a party, and there is a lot of food and a lot of music and celebration, everyone is happy. And then the people are asking, and what are they doing to this boy? Why is this such a nice day? And then you say, people say, yeah, and they celebrate this? Yes. Yeah, why? Yeah, it's tradition. Yeah, what is this tradition? Yeah, so you have to investigate. Why is this done? And you can say, of course, maybe it's medical reasons, blah, 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 blah. No, we have to go back and say, no, it's a religious issue. Yeah? So it's something which we have in Islam, which is mandatory for the boys at a certain age. In other countries, it's different. We also have this in other religions, like in Judaism, there's also a circumcision. And in Indonesia, this is such a great day for the family and such a great day for the child that they are celebrating it. In another country, it looks like they are harming the child. Yeah? So it's a different point of view, even if we see the same things. And this is where I said, you have some certain parts which are visible. Visible is how the boy is dressed nicely, how the family is celebrating, but you have an invisible part. Why is it like this? Why is this so important for the community? And this is what we have to look at when we talk about cultural theory. So my kind of guys who are busy with this all day long. We are not looking on how people are talking or what movies are at the moment relevant. We are looking at the moment, at this part, we are looking, what do people really believe? What do people really think? Where are certain behaviors coming from? And I can only assure you, once you are getting into this material, it's becoming very, very interesting. Why? Because you learn a lot about your own culture. And you also start to question things, and you also start to change things, because some cultural things we don't need maybe anymore. Yeah? Oh, we need the sunnat, right, okay. But there might be other things where we say, this is why are people doing this all the time? Yeah? It makes no sense to me. And then you are investigating, and then either you find out it makes really sense or it doesn't make sense, and then we can change it. Next. Ja, bangun. So as you see, culture has many aspects. So you mentioned already a few of them, and there are a lot more what we have to look in. We are not looking into them all today. We always will scratch on some of them, and I will explain you a little bit. But it's very important to know that culture is not what we dress like, or culture is not what we are saying. Culture is not what kind of food we are eating. Of course, this is important. But if I want to have a good rendang, I also can go to Malaysia. You are all nodding. You should all say, nah! Come on, guys. Where's your national pride? Oh, sorry. Saya di Lombok, ayam Taliban. Jakangkung. So we need to know really what's going on. Next. Yep, BenQ. It's a Korean brand. Okay. When we look into culture, I mentioned this already. What is culture basically? So we have this perspective, what people are having, these values, they are shared, and I said already, it's not only that we have a country culture, we also have different part of cultures. We are following corporate culture, group cultures. So also, for example, what I said before, at the university, it's a different culture that when you have been in SMP, when you go to another university, or even if you are now doing your S1 and then later on you're making S2, there is a different culture in S1 than in S2. Yeah? In S1, you are more, your teachers are guiding you more. In S2, the teachers will not guide you so much because you work independent, and once you make S-Tiga, you are alone. Yeah? So you, I know this, and where is Ima? She also knows this quite well. Also, for example, if you are in certain groups, clubs, there's also different culture. So you also, for example, when you meet with your friends, in the evening you sit for a coffee, then you will talk and behave different like when you sit with your parents or with your family. So there's also a different kind of culture. Next. What is important to know about culture is that culture is learned. It's not something what we are born with. What we are born with is with our nationality, for example. When you are born in Indonesia, you are Indonesian. What we are born with is the color of our skin. What we are born with is the color of our eyes, the color of our hairs. This is something, we can change the color of our hairs, of course, and we can also change the color of our skin if we want. But this is something which cannot be changed in general. So we are born with this, and this is fixed. But everything else we learn, the language we learn. So for example, if you are born as an Indonesian to an Indonesian family, but you grow up in the UK, you will be speaking English from early childhood on. You also will speak Bahasa Indonesia, but you also will be speaking English. You will appreciate British culture, because you are growing up in this culture. And once you're coming back to Indonesia, hello? No problem. So this is learned. I can give you a very interesting sample of a client of mine I had once in Jakarta for training. So I did a cross-cultural training for foreigners coming to Indonesia, working in Indonesia. And I had my schedule and my participant list, and all of the people have been coming in. And of course, it was all Bule, yeah? All coming from United States, from Germany, from France, whatever. And there was, on my list was still one name standing, American name, very American name, Mike, whatever. And I was looking around into the audience and said, where is this guy? I didn't see him. I saw a lot of Bule and I checked already on them, and there was one Indonesian guy sitting. And I say to him, you might be wrong in my class because you are Indonesian, so this is actually for the foreigners. And he said, no, he is this Mike. And I said, okay, yeah, but you are still wrong. He said, you are Indonesian. Yeah, I'm Indonesian, my parents are Indonesian, but my parents moved to the United States 50 years ago. And I grew up in United States, and I went to school in United States, I studied in United States, and now I'm coming back to Indonesia, but I don't know anything about Indonesian culture. Of course, I know my mother is making the best opor ayam. Yeah? But I have been educated fully American. And now I'm coming to Indonesia. He also spoke Bahasa Indonesia fluent, because at home, of course, they spoke both languages. But now when he said when he's coming to Indonesia, the people, they are looking at him and said, bukannya Indonesia. So the people expect him to know all the cultural habits of Indonesia, but he doesn't know them. So he made the same mistakes. Yeah? So he was fully Indonesian from the look, from the language, but he didn't understand the culture. Why? Because he grew up somewhere else. So that's why. It's not that culture is not in our blood. Culture is something we learn. And culture is very deeply rooted. So we also are, it's hard for us to change our culture because it's our behavior, it's part of our identity. Yeah? If you take the culture away from someone and say, you are not allowed to do this anymore, just try one thing. We talked about this Tangan Manis before. Just try one time to always do everything with the left hand. It will make you totally confused. Because you have learned it from child on that you are doing things with the right hand. And when you do it with the left hand, it's not only feeling funny, you also don't feel well when you are doing it. Because you always you get a bad feeling because your parents told you that you have to have a bad feeling. Yeah? So this is why culture is also so important for our self-identity. And cultures are dynamic, so what basically means that, of course, cultures are changing, cultures are developing over time. We always say in the theory, it always takes one generation to change a culture. And this is done not by force, it's always done automatically because people change their culture as they want to have it. I assume every one of you is having a handphone, right? Is there someone not having a handphone? So handphone became part of our culture. When you have been 25, did you have a handphone? Really? One of the, but it was still so big. Right, yeah. But did you have a handphone when you have been 25? Definitely not, because there was no handphone existing. No, just think about this. The smartphone, the first smartphones we had, 2001, yeah? So you are a generation which only knows to live with a smartphone. For you, this is normal. We are a generation, and the generation of your parents, we know a time where we even didn't have a phone at home. There was no telephone at home. No electricity. Yeah, in Indonesia, no electricity. Yeah, okay. In Germany, we had already electricity. But hello. But we didn't have handphones. So for us, it's confusing that young people always sit there with the handphone because we know a time where there was no handphone. But for you, this is normal. So there is a culture change. Yeah? So this is very interesting to see things from this perspective. How much time do I have? because I don't have a watch. 10:28. Okay, next. Yeah, this is what I already mentioned. Culture is also based on generation. Culture is also different from gender. So if you're male or female, there's also a different culture. Yeah. So for example, are you guys watching makeup tutorials on Instagram? Why not? No way. But you girls, you watch it. Or hijab tutorials. But for us, we don't need hijab tutorials. Only if you want to lihat cewek cantik. Mau cari istri, lihat Instagram hijab tutorial. This is not our official advice. So, also social level, of course, there are differences. Also in ethnics and nationality, there are differences, and in company and business culture, there are differences. Next. So what we can basically say is, and this is a very interesting saying from Cluckhorn and Murray, human beings are like all other human beings, like some other human beings, like no other human beings. So we share a lot. We share our DNA. We are all humans. It's all the same. We are all made out of, we have hairs, some of us have more or less hairs, but we all have hairs, we all have blood, we all have bones, we all have flesh, we are all bleeding, we are all hungry, we all want to sleep sometimes, we all want to have food, we all want to have security, so we are all the same. But in the same way, we are a little bit like others, it's like some others. So, for example, when you say, you are like me, yeah, what we have in common, we both are at a university. We both speak Bahasa Indonesia. I'm very bad, you very good. But we don't have so much in common, because I'm coming from a total different country. So I'm living by my values. I'm reading my newspapers. I'm taking care about my politics. I'm taking care about the people in my country. So this is a difference. So we are the same, but in some ways we are different. And then we are all kind of different. Because look at you guys. There is no one looking the same. You all have, one is having a long nose, one is having a small nose, one is big, one is tall, one is a little bit browner, one is a little bit brighter. One is smart, one is not so smart. Yeah? One guy likes to eat more than the others. Even your hijabs are not all the same, ladies. Yeah, some of you have black hijab, yeah, but it's all different models. We wear different kind of clothes in a certain way. So this is all different. And this is very important to understand this. And this is now my next slide, please. Can you press one time, please? That when we look at culture, of course, we look at a very high level. So I can say, this is Indonesian culture in a certain way. But I cannot say this is you. I cannot say this is typical for you, because I don't know you. You are different. I don't know your character. We all have universal values. This is what we have all in common, right? So we all want to be happy. Everyone on this planet wants to be happy. There is no country when you ask people, do you want to be happy? No, I don't want to be happy. I like it to be sad. No, everyone wants to be happy. Happiness is very important for us. Even when you see the old Greek philosophers, they have been making their philosophy, like Socrates, Aristoteles, to find out what happiness means. They have been in the pursuit for happiness. This was the most important thing. And happiness not in terms of, yeah, happiness in terms of, my life is fulfilled. Yeah? I can live a very good life. This is happiness. Then we all smile. We all have aggression. We all laugh. We all need food, we all feel pain. We all want to have protection. Yeah, every one of us is living in a house. Why? Because it's raining or the sun is shining, so we need to have protection. We all need sleep. No one of us can live without sleep. We all have sexuality, we have sexual desires. We all feel sorrow if someone is dying, if someone is going away from us. We all feel this, but we are doing it in a different way. We are expressing it in BenQ way. We all want to have recognition. Yeah? When you are sitting here, why are you doing this at the university? Why are you studying? Because you want to get good grades. Because you want to get a S1, a S2. And why do you want to get this? Of course, you want to make a career, but you want that your mama or papa is saying, I'm proud of you. Isn't this the truth? Right. Yeah, we are all doing it like this. So we want to have recognition, and we want to have spirituality. We want to live our religion, for example. Next, please. So this is what we can say human nature. But then there comes the culture part. We are getting education. We are learning our language. We are learning certain behavior. Manis, right? We are learning norms and values, how to behave. Yeah. So when there is someone older coming to the room, we are not doing that. How are you? Make like this. That's also for Indonesia. In Germany, we don't do this. Yeah. But in Indonesia, it's normal, and you have to follow it. We have certain rituals. We said before Sunat. We have our religion we are following. Whether we are Hindus, Buddhist, Muslim, Christian, whatever, we are following our religion. We have our work culture. We have our interpretation of time and space, and we have a social political system we are living in. And this system is shaping us. But next, please. At the end of the day, when we are talking to people, we all need to see that we have individual characteristics. We all are in a certain way totally different. We have a personality. This personality is, of course, influenced by this and by this, because we are building our personality up, right? But at the end of the day, people are totally different based on their characteristics. One is louder, one is not so loud. You notice when you have brothers and sisters, maybe your brother was always very quiet and you have been always running around, yeah, and or you have been the one who was always sitting in the room reading books, and your sisters have been always playing outside or something like this. So there are different characteristics, and that's what we have to look at. So when we talk about culture, we only talk about one part of us. We are not talking about each and everything. We are talking only about this part we have been learning about. Next, please. So what we also have basically is we have all universal values, and this is important. So for example, you guys, you want to have a good life, right? You want to earn a good money. You want to have a family maybe. You want to have kids. You want to have a good job. Yeah. What do you think what I want? The same like you. That's not different. But the way how I'm doing it might be different. And this is culture. The way how to get this. For example, also when you say you want to have family, you want to have how many kids? 2? Anyone more? Come on, what is in Lombok? What is in Lombok the best number? 4. 3. 3 kids. Banyak kalau dapat 3 anak, dapat banyak rezeki. Tapi harus bikin, nggak usah beli. So this is what we all want, but the way how we want to have it is the same. So for example, if you ask people in Germany, you want to have a family? Yeah, yes. When do you want to have it? With 25? No, with some 30, 35, 34, 35. Do you want to have kids? Yes, but only one. Different culture, but the same desire. only a different way how to execute it. And this also applies for working, this applies for studying. When you talk to students in Germany, you say, why are you studying? They will also say, I want to make a career, I want to get my recognition for my grades, or I want to have an academic career or something like this. But they will also, for example, say, I want to fulfill myself. Self-fulfillment. What does it mean? This means that they are searching by what they are studying a sense in life. They change study subjects many times. It's very common that people start to study in economics, and then after 2 or 3 semesters they realize, no, I don't like it. They move to psychology. Then they make 2 semesters psychology, and then they move to geology. And they said, okay, now I found what I really love. I love geology. I love stones. Yeah? So now I'm studying geology. And the parents, they will not say, but you have to be faster in your study and you have to get good grades because you have to get a high salary. No, that's not important. Yeah? It's a different, but at the end of the day, it's the same. They want to be happy. Yeah? Only the way how to become happy is different. Yeah, we have all these universal values, but next, there are different perceptions and interpretations of it. So we see the world a little bit different. And this is what, when we talk about cultural awareness, this is basically what you need to consider whenever you are talking to someone. Next. This person will see the same as you will see, only from a different perspective. And that's where the problem is coming up. It's not that we are thinking different, it's that we see things from a different point of view. The same when I'm here. What do you see when you are looking here? You see one person talking. I see 100 people listening. But we are both in the same room. So only our perspective is different. But we all here for having some good day today, getting some lecture. I want to give you some information, you want to get some information, I want to learn something from you, you want to learn something from me. So we are both in the same position, only on different sides of the story. And this is what you always have to imagine. So even when you are meeting someone from a foreign country and you think, this guy, he's so difficult, this is so hard to talk to this person, he doesn't understand. This person wants to have the same like you have, only he sees it from a different perspective. So basically, when we talk about cross-cultural theory, what it means is not that we are changing the others. This means that we are changing our point of view. We have to think, what is this person thinking right now? How does this person approach things? Next, please. And why is all of this important? Because we have prejudice and stereotypes. And this is what you also learn together with your culture. So you all have stereotypes about Bule. When you see a Bule, there are certain things coming to your mind. Negative or positive, doesn't matter. Yeah? But this is this really true for this person? This person might be totally different. Only because he's Bule, this would be the same when I'm seeing someone in Germany, Indonesian, and I would say, all Indonesians are like this. Many might be like this, but not all. And this is what I have to understand, yeah? That when I meet a person, that I just think about what is my opinion about the culture of this person. Is this really true? Is it really for this person like this, that this person is also behaving in this way? Of course, we can say there are certain behaviors of a Bule. Bule are always talking very loud. It's basically true. Yeah? Germans, for example, we all love to talk very loud, but not because we are educated in this way, because our language is structured in this way. I just said before, because Ibu Guru, where is she now? She's gone. Was asking me, said if I speak at home also with my wife Bahasa Indonesia. No, we speak German, because in German it's easier to swear. Bahasa Indonesia is Bahasa Sopan. Yeah, I know the dirty words, but even they sound not very dirty. So in German you have a lot more possibilities. So that's why also we are doing it in a different way. We are behaving in a different way. What we have with the stereotypes is, I'll also give you a short story about stereotypes. I'm Muslim, alhamdulillah. You might have heard this already. I was in Jakarta a couple of years ago with a friend of mine who's Malaysian. But he doesn't practice any religion, he says. I don't know if he's Muslim or whatever, but he doesn't practice, okay. So we have been going in Jakarta to a restaurant, and the waiter came and asked what we want to have. And he ordered a beer, and I ordered ST. So the waiter just noted it down and came back, and he took the beer and placed the beer to me, and the ST to my Malaysian colleague. And my Malaysian colleague took the beer and the ST and changed it. And the waiter was standing there. He was looking at him, at me, and you saw that he was totally confused. This was, for him, he was really standing there for 2 or 3 minutes, and he didn't understand what's going on. Why? Because for him, he knows when there is Bule coming, Bule is drinking beer. But not all Bule are drinking beer. Many of them, right? But if you give me a beer, wow, haram. So this is what I mean with stereotypes. So where we are falling into stereotypes. And we need to always know the stereotypes as well, because once we are, we need the stereotypes. They are very important because it makes it easy for us, because we cannot look at each person always separately. But we have to take care that they are not becoming prejudice, that we are not taking this as normal, that we say, okay, all Bule are like this, all Indonesian are like this. I don't like Indonesian because all Indonesian are like this and this and this and this. Yeah? Or I don't want to talk to Bule because all Bule are like this. No, you don't know it. You met maybe 1 or 2 Bule and they are like this, but you will meet the 3rd or 4th Bule and he's different. In Indonesia you have 280 million people. I haven't met all of them. I have met many Indonesians, and some are very typically Indonesian, some are absolutely not. They behave totally different. So that's why we always have to question ourselves when we have stereotypes. Next, please. So this is one very good sample for stereotypes and for cultural misunderstanding. This is also, actually, we can use this for Indonesia as well. And I had this morning such a very interesting encounter in the hotel that I got into the elevator and there have been 2 Bule girls, or girls, not young ladies. And both have been dressed for Indonesia, critical. And then I just say to them good morning in English, and then they started talking and they have been Germans. And then I thought, okay, now I know why they are dressed like this. In Germany, in summer, you can run around in pants. This, you can have your belly free, no problem. This is, in Germany, it's no problem. You can run around in summer, it's normal. But in Indonesia, maybe not. But also when you say, for example, yeah, all women in Germany are like this, they all run around, jelek, yeah, so they show the body. It's normal for them. They have a different perspective on you. They said, here is always hot, why do you wear hijab? Yeah, they don't understand it. So we have to talk to each other and we have to explain and say, I'm wearing the hijab, why? Because this is a sign of my iman. So I'm showing my respect to Allah. I'm showing my respect to my society that I have to be covered. Yeah? There are certain parts. We have the aura, which has to be covered. Yeah? That's why we are doing it. But also, on the other hand, when you see someone in Europe running around with the short pants and everything open, you cannot just say, this woman is wrong. Why? Europe, especially, for example, in Germany, we had a big movement in the 60s which freed the woman from oppression. So we had a very strong oppression system. Women have not been allowed to drive a car. It's funny, in Germany, not Saudi Arabia. We are talking about Germany some 60 years ago. Women have not been allowed to take a job unless the husband approved it. Women have not been allowed to open a bank account unless the husband approved it. And when the husband said the woman has to quit the job, so the husband could go to the boss and say, you fire her. So that the husband could resign on behalf of the woman. And in the 60s, the women there was a movement which freed the woman, which abolished all of these laws. And this also came together with freeing how you are dressing. So now you are free to dress. And that's why people are dressing as they want. They dress with long skirt, with short skirt. Sometimes you see things in Germany where even I, as a German, say, oh, astaghfirullah. It's but for example, also for me, growing up in Germany as a Muslim, I was not born as a Muslim, but for me, it's not. There's nothing. When I see women like this, is no problem because I have been growing up like this. If someone is coming from a country where you don't see this, you might stand there and be totally confused. But it's culture, and we cannot say this culture is good or this culture is bad. And this is, by the way, what we are doing as Muslims many times. We are saying Western culture is bad. No. Because when we say Western culture is bad, what does the Western people say? Muslim culture is bad. So we just say, okay, what is good in Western culture and what is good in Muslim culture? What is good in this country? What is good in this country? What is bad in this country? What is bad in this country? The funny thing is that a couple of years ago, they make a study among countries in the world, and they researched which of the countries is having a law which is in most compliance to Sharia. What do you think, which country in the world was most compliant to Sharia? Saudi Arabia? What do you think? Which country was most compliant with Sharia law? Finland. Finland is having no Muslim population, basically. Maybe they have some few 100,000 Muslims there, but yeah. Time's running out. Okay, no problem. So just finish this. So then you see, when we compare the laws in Finland, they are more in compliance to the Sharia, as we would define it from a scientific point of view, than the laws in Saudi Arabia, for example. Yeah. So, okay, guys. We will start from the beginning. For those who did not listen, continue. Click. You will get all the slides. Click. Next. You see, there's a lot of more things. I have next. This is the final slide. This I want to show you. So, what can you do to improve your cross-cultural skills and to learn more about culture? The first thing is read books. There are a lot of books. You get them in Mataram in the bookstores normally, or you can order it online. About cross-cultural theory. I even saw there are a lot of these books now translated into Bahasa Indonesia, or at least you will find them in English. So try to get some literature, try to read this, try to reflect on your own culture. Become aware about your own values, views, and perspective. This is the most important thing. So whenever you think that I am seeing it this way and I am right, then ask yourself, am I really right? Or might there be people who are seeing it different? Next. Start to compare. When you work with foreign people, investigate on their culture, investigate on their values, investigate how they are feeling. And this is the best by talking to people. just go there and say, how are you seeing this? In my country, we are doing it this and this and this way. How are you doing it in your country? And do you know why? You will start a very interesting discussion, because not you only are not reflecting on your own culture, everyone. Because when I'm in Germany all my life, I don't need to reflect on my culture. It's all just normal and everyone is following the same rules. But once I'm meeting a person from a foreign culture, I'm shocked, because this person is different. This person is acting totally different. Yeah, there is Indonesian now coming, and Indonesian is not shaking hands. Indonesian is making like this. How unpolite. Yeah, and then you have to explain. So no, for example, the boy said, no, I'm just making like this because in my religion, we are so polite that we are not allowed to touch a woman. Yeah, or I have already made my voodoo, so I don't want to make voodoo again because the water is so cold in Germany. It's really in winter. So, next. Understand, observe perspective and behaviors. Observe the reactions and interpret them. So when you see how people are reacting, just try to figure out why they are reacting like this, and always think about, it's not negative. They are always having the same things they want to achieve like you are, and then check how you can handle this particular situation. Next. Consider what you can learn from them. And this is always the best approach. This is what I'm doing since 20 years in Indonesia. Even if I'm getting sometimes angry because there are certain behaviors which are going totally against my behavior. But I'm trying to understand and trying to learn. Said, okay, how can I apply this for my life? What does it help me? And it made me, for example, a lot of more patient. And it made me read a lot of more books, because in Indonesia I have to wait so much sometimes. That's why I take now more time. So this is what you can do to make yourself cultural aware. Next. And remember always, it's all about respect and tolerance. So whenever you meet someone, okay, if this person is unfriendly to you, just check, is this person generally unfriendly? There are persons which are unfriendly. But if this person is unfriendly because he doesn't understand a certain part of culture, then respect it and tolerate it. Yeah? Don't be also angry directly. Again, be patient, be sabar. Next. And if you want to connect with me and if you have further questions, here is my LinkedIn profile. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, I recommend you to make something, because this is really helping you on an international basis also to connect with people. And feel free to connect with me, and thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. I'm sure everybody thinks that was a very charming and interesting explanation about cross-cultural awareness. All right, so now we give a chance for the audience to ask questions. We'll start from the ones in the theater room, and then if we have already from the Zoom participants, maybe we start with 2 from the audience here. All right, one at the back there, one more. All right, from I know Imam, and then your name, you can stand up, and then can the committee give him a mic? Please tell us your name.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Mr. Chris. My name is Keisha Ardizatul Nasri. I'm a third student in the Economic Development Study Program, and I'm in the 3rd semester. So I would like to ask, based on our theme today. So because in Economic International is one of my course, so I think it's related to our theme today. Okay, so I want to ask you about why do we need culture in dealing with international business? Because there was a slide about why culture is important for international business, but it was skipped because we ran out of time. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Would you like to answer directly?
That's very quick. Yeah, no, I answer directly, because if not, then I forget it. Yeah, you saw I skipped this slide because I prepared more slides than I had time. Why is it important? First of all, you will meet in international business people from other countries, so you will need to be aware about their culture. The second thing is when you are, for example, doing negotiations, when you are negotiating contracts or something like this, the way how to negotiate is different. The way how to give information, how to convince others is different. So, for example, Indonesia is a culture which is very polite. So we Indonesians try always to draw a little bit back. But when you are meeting people from other especially coming from United States, from Europe, these people are very direct. And sometimes this might give you the aggressive. But it's not aggressive, it's the way how to communicate. So there it is very important. Another part which is very important is, for example, if you are making marketing campaigns, if you want to sell a product, the product which you can sell here in Indonesia might be the best in the market, but you won't be able to sell it in another country, or vice versa. There are a lot of samples for one of the general samples. What we always have is Walmart. Walmart from the United States, the biggest supermarket chain in the United States. They tried 10 years ago to enter the German market. They totally failed. Why? No one knows until today really why it failed. It was financially successful and so on, but the way to make shopping in Germany is totally different than in the United States. The people just simply didn't accept it. Another sample which I always like to mention is that you are aware about other cultures in business when you are dealing on an international basis. For example, if you are on an exhibition. There was a German company, it was German, some European company, and they make wooden floor, so for the house, yeah, inside from wood. Been in Japan, and they made all of their exhibition stand in its wooden floor. People, and in Japan, no one was coming to them, no one was visiting them. And they have been wondering, why are the Japanese not coming to us? Because the Japanese would take out the shoes when they go there, and take out your shoes. Yeah? These are so typical fails where you have problems when you are not understanding this, when you are not taking this into consideration.
Check. Check on check.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, good morning, Ms. Nila. Morning to Christian Haynes, founder of a consultant Indonesia. Okay, the first to begin with, I'd like to ask you actually about the Chinese communist. Is it okay? Right, because what exactly is going on about the Chinese communists right now? Okay, yeah, as we know, a Chinese communist become as the world factory, and either case, the Chinese community has strong business ecosystem, regulation campaigns, and the low tax and all industry correctly, right? And my question is, can we, especially in Indonesia, compete with the Chinese, and what do we need prepared to compete in the business, in international business? And my straight question, the last but not least, actually I want to ask, this is, what other skill do we need to learn about success in international business in the future? Other, like you said, mentioned about the cultural skill. What others do we need to prepare it? Thank you.
Do you understand?
I'm not an expert on Chinese culture or the Chinese political system. So I also have no idea how to compete against China, because at the moment no one can compete against China. We have a certain dependency on China, all the world. In Germany we have such a discussion at the moment as well, that we said, okay, Germany is too depending on China, but on the same side, China is also too depending on Germany, because they produce and they want to sell, and the same goes with Indonesia. China is producing and Indonesia is buying it. So if you are not buying, don't buy Chinese. No, I'm not saying this, because then the economy will not be so successful anymore. No, but that's the world we are living in. And to make Indonesia the same competitive as China, I have no idea. Ask your president.
Okay.
He's in charge for this.
Yeah, because that's what's going on now in the world about the Chinese economy. It's really dangerous about the business.
Yeah. Personally, I have no opinion about this.
Okay.
Because it's a blooming economy, and I don't know how they do it, but it works. The second question you had, what kind of skills do you need in addition to be successful international? Okay, the first thing is you need to speak English. All of you guys need to speak English up to a degree which is professionally acceptable. I realize this now today, that the proficiency of English became the last 10 years a lot better. 10 years ago, it was hard for the students also to talk in English, to express themselves in English. You need to learn this, and you need to practice. For you guys, it's easier now because you have access to the internet, you have access to people all over the world. So this is very important. This cross-cultural skills is very important to understand how other people are acting. Another skill, and this is what I would say has something to do with the mentality, this is that you need entrepreneurial bravery. So not to know how to be an entrepreneur, this helps you also in a local market if you want to make a Warung. Yeah, this is okay. But you need to be brave to go to other countries, to say, we have something what we can sell. We have products that the world needs. Because at the moment, and this is I'm criticizing this already since 20 years, Indonesia is still relying too much on natural resources. This was the last 30, 40, 50 years. And this also can continue, definitely, of course. But at the moment, which kind of product do I get in Germany which is produced in Indonesia? Except Indomie. There's nothing. Yeah. I had last week I watched on YouTube a report about Sri Lanka, because we had a couple of years. You might remember this also in Indonesia was the same, that there was a boom for coconut oil, virgin coconut oil. Everyone want to have virgin coconut oil for eating, for cosmetics, whatsoever. Do you know who supplies the world with coconut oil? Which country is the biggest producer of coconut products in the world? Brazil? Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is providing 90% of the coconut products worldwide. In Sri Lanka, I don't know how they did it. It was private investment. Once this boom started with the coconut oil, there have been farms growing, there have been factories being built up, they have invested money in processing coconut. And now they are world market leader, 90% of this product. And the coconut oil is something where there's a real value add, because you produce it for maybe 20 cents and you sell it for $8 in the United States. And this is, so Indonesia is having a lot of potential, and you guys need to figure out this potential, see what kind of products are on the local market and also successful on the international market, and react very quick. And what I have to admit personally is that when I see people, and this is now especially here for Lombok, leave your island. It's a beautiful island, I know. But leave it. Go abroad. Leave your comfort zone. Yeah? Of course, your mama and papa, they want to have their children close. But you are young, go out. And then later on, when you are successful, then come back. Buy a house, build up your family, take care of your parents. Yeah? Go out. And this is very important. And if it's only if you are going to Java, or if you are going to Sumatra or something like this, or now Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, go out.
I think do you have questions from the Zoom participants? No question? All right. Any more questions from the participants in this room? No more? Oh, okay, one question. Go ahead then. Don't forget to mention your name.
Okay. First of all, thank you for the opportunity. I'm Hani Aliasser, and I'm from Development Economic and Economic Study Program, third semester. And back to our term today, cross-cultural awareness in dealing with international business. And now, maybe, sir, you have experience to manage a company. And how if now the case is you have many employees that they have different culture, then how do you as a manager still manage your employees who are culturally different so that the company you run continues to operate well and get the profits? Okay, that's all my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the most difficult question, how to manage this. The first thing is you need to be cultural aware by yourself. So you need to appreciate that you have a lot of cultures in your business, and you need to see what I mentioned in the beginning, the chances which you have from this difference. So that you say, for example, you have people coming from this culture solving problems in a different way. So you have to be very open for different ways of problem solving, of doing the work. And you have to try. You can say, okay, now we try it this way, now we try it this way, and figure out which one is the best. I think this is the most important thing, and you have to have respect for all of the people from the cultures and appreciate this. It's basically in practice not so difficult to do it if you are appreciating this, if you are going open to the people and say, okay, I know that you have different cultures, how do you deal with it in Indonesia? How do you deal with this in India? Okay, tomorrow we try the Indonesian way, and if it doesn't work, we don't do it again. And then we try the Indian way, and if this doesn't work, then we try to do it somehow different. So this is basically what I'm doing, why I'm trying to educate the people also in companies. So I'm going there and give them this kind of trainings. We also make workshops. I will have next week in Jakarta a workshop again, where exactly this is coming. So we have different cultures and have to develop a framework how they can benefit from this variety of cultures. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Any more questions? No? Okay. I personally have a question. Do you think it's polite for us to, when we're communicating with somebody from a different culture, to ask what is okay and what is not okay? For example, like before you shake hand with the person, is it okay if I shake your hand? Is it polite to ask that? In terms of like a business relationship, like.
I would love to have the world like this, that we are communicating more in this way and said, okay, what do you want and what you don't want? Then all our lives would be a lot better. But I think in practice this is not possible.
Okay.
So what helps us basically a lot is that before we are meeting people from other countries, that at least we are trying to find out how they are, what are the typical things. So these are the classicals, what we have in cross-cultural trainings, what people love the most, the do's and don'ts.
Right.
So if you go to Japan,
Yes.
you
Don't
have
do
to make
this,
koto and don't bow lower than whatever. this is already helping, that you say, okay, when you are going to Indonesia, you have to take care about this and this and this rules. When you go to Germany, you have to take care about this, and this you can find now easily in the internet. So whenever you go to a foreign country, Google it, do's and don'ts in this and this country, and they will show you some things where you said, okay, that's definitely okay. I think when you are on a long-term business relation with people, that you know that you will work with some people for a long time on a research project, that you say, okay, you address this issue and said, okay, in my country it's like this, how is it in your country? Are you feeling comfortable with it? Sometimes also we have to step over our own comfort zone, out of our, to say, yeah, maybe even in Indonesia, it's not appropriate to give hand, to shake hand in a certain way. Maybe you have to do it in Germany. Because it would be so unpolite for the people that you say, okay, then I make wudu again, and then it's okay. Because from an Islamic perspective, you are allowed to shake hands with other people. It's better if you avoid it, but it's not forbidden. So you always have. That's why I said you learn a lot about yourself, because you have to figure out how willing I am, how willing I am to go how far.
Okay, yeah. Because personally, I've worked for a German company, and one of the when I went, I was an accountant for their company, and because I came back, I always work from the university. I always dress formally, and my boss would say, don't dress formally when you're working with us, because it seems that you're the boss and we're not the boss. So, things like that, and also very direct, like you said. Things like, and you don't need to like bow down every time you see us, and you don't have to call us Bapa, or you would just call me by my first name and things like that. And like you mentioned before, so it's a good idea for us to Google do's and don'ts about people we are about to meet for business, for example. So we know what we can and cannot do, and what we should or should do, right? Things like that. And maybe Pak Agustin, you would like to have any comments? No. All right, no then. Comment. If there are no further questions, no more questions? Not even from the participants from the internet, from Zoom? No? No question? Then thank you very much, Christian, for this sharing session. I would say it's more than like a seminar, because it's a sharing session about your experiences, and we are very happy that you gave us the time, and I'm sure we learned a lot, didn't we? Although they seem a bit sleepy
Dia
because
lapar.
of the time. Yeah, dia lapar. Lapar? Almost time for lunch. Not quite. Okay then, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
I think we have prepared a little souvenir for you. I returned the time to the MC. Thank you very much, Melinda.
Okay, please give applause to our speaker and moderator. Okay, our next session is giving a souvenir and documentation that will give by Mr. Agus. To Mr. Agus, the time is yours. And for the committee, please arrange the position to documentation. Then there is the handing over of souvenirs and a group photo session. The souvenirs is represent of our big thanks to our speaker for give a lot of knowledge and new experience that was delivered to us from the presentation session. for all of the participants can scan the certificate in front of the stage. Please give applause to our speaker. As the end of seminar session, we have reached the end of our agenda today. As the master of ceremony of this event, I represent all of the committee would like to send our big thanks to all of the participants here. And let's end today's event by saying Alhamdulillah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. And for all of the participants, we would like to say thank you, and all of us can get out from the theater. And don't forget, for all of the participants, to scan the certificate in front of the stage.